good evening, and welcome back to Week 14 of the Collegiate Star League as we head towards playoffs. Big matchup here tonight between University of Michigan and the cute anime lovers. I do want to do a big shout out to Twitch, our sponsor for the CSL, featuring our matches weekly. We're proud to be affiliated with the largest gaming stream provider in the world, and of course, Asus Republic of Gamers. Asus is the presenting sponsor of the CSL. Asus makes some of the world's best gaming PCs, laptops, and monitors, and is funding this season's travel to DreamHack and our prize pool for the year. Be sure to follow their social media at Asus_ROG and thank them for sponsoring the CSL. My name is Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TV. I'm joined by Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can find him at the Wonder Cow. And of course, you can find all of us over at C Star League on the Twitter. Now, the reason this game's important, Gorgon, is because on one hand, you have University of Michigan. They are undefeated. They have not dropped a match. They've dropped a game. They've not dropped a match all season long. They are secured for playoffs. They're looking at a top seed. On the opposite side is UC Berkeley. They're a team who had a very, very, very tough start to the year. Got the reshuffle, did just well enough to get into this bracket to compete against some top teams, and practiced like crazy during the offseason, and came back only dropping one match from that time. And that means that they are currently one match away, a win over U of M specifically, from securing a playoff berth. So they have to take this 3-game series. Unfortunately, Gorgon, they're already down one.
What one is not a series maketh, right? This is they could win 2 back-to-back, and to be fair to them, they were playing on US East last time.
That's fair. That's
very
fair.
Clearly, if you know your geography, California is not on the East Coast.
You know what? That is fair. Last night, I live near Michigan. Well, I got suckered into playing a US West game, and I was blown away because I don't play competitive very often, so I don't really deal with this sort of playing on a bad server. How much more difficult the game is when your ping rises up around 100. It just changes everything.
Yeah, and some of these players probably have a ping rise of like 25 to 40 when they play on US East. I know I can play on US West sometimes with only 25 to 40 change, but like you said, some of them could be playing with 100 ping difference. It does make a difference. Now, that said, I do think that they got out-drafted a bit, and I do think they got outplayed a little bit, but they did have University of Michigan's number when it came down to rotations and understanding the limitations of when their opponents are going to be distracted and easily accessible. So they did take out Zingle several times. That's not on Zingle necessarily. It's on the entire team, right? The whole team missed those, as far as we can tell, unless they were just warning him and he was not listening, which, to be fair, from the top down in these games, looks like sometimes might be the case. But yeah, the whole team for U of M seemed to be unaware of what I would consider some pretty predictable and pretty basic rotations. So although U of M are technically a very, very strong squad, although they've been performing very well throughout this week where we've been watching them and the rest of the CSL, there are weaknesses that can be exploited here, and Berkeley are going to be looking for them.
And Berkeley is going to desperately be looking for it. Now, they pick up the Undying, which worked out pretty well for them last time around. He was very effective in the fights. Their Undying player, very, very strong. They get themselves an Abaddon as well, a hero that we saw used last week by a different team, University of Michigan specifically, but very effective in this meta, especially against U of M's style of play. His heal, his maintenance during these fights, and I think, honestly, the Curse of Avernus, all going to be pretty strong in this game. That said, they've got a TA and a Sand King to deal with. The TA is interesting to me. I'd like her as a hero. I don't like her seeing picked up in the first 2 spots.
I think she's fine in the first 2 spots. I mean, yeah, maybe you get a bad lane partner, but she's a okay hero for early on. She doesn't give a lot away about your draft. She usually goes mid, and it usually means you've got some physical damage coming out. But other than that, it's not terrible. She's one of these heroes that has a lot of catch-up potential. So although she does snowball really hard if she gets out ahead, if she doesn't have the best laning phase ever because you got super hard countered in lane, she can just kind of use side blades to catch up, right? So
that's true. I think that in this particular instance, it is important for University of Michigan to get an early mid start. As we've seen them play in the past, the games that we've seen them drop have been because they were shut down in the middle position. The games that we've seen them run away with was because their opposing team couldn't stay head-to-head with the mid laner. And I think that is what worries me. This means that UC Berkeley, who has proven that they're no slouches, that they have a good understanding of the game, and that they can make strong rotations and execute team plays, have a chance to draft someone here designed specifically to deal with that TA, assuming that she's in the mid position, and put presumably Zingle in a tough starting spot. And I'm curious to see exactly how that plays out. Death Prophet going to get picked up.
She's an okay laner up against TA just because of Spirit Siphon, right? I'm not exactly sure what the interval for damage is on that Spirit Siphon, but I suspect that it's once per second. Sometimes you have things that do damage based per second, but they actually do damage in different intervals for really weird reasons that end up impacting TA. But I'm pretty sure Spirit Siphon is once per second, which is not the worst thing in the world if you're a TA and you have 4 or 5, refraction charges.
Should be interesting. I also like they picked up the Ancient Aberration in the context of the Cold Feet. Will tick, tick, tick before the stun goes off. So there's a lot of potential there. We've got Sand King. I'm sorry, wait a minute. Opposite teams. Apparently it's been a long day. I think that they need to get at least one more hero. The Soul Siphon is good, but they need something like that.
They will need to get 2 heroes here.
They're going to need someone that can take off the shield faster is, I think, where my big worry
for
is.
Templar Assassin, you mean?
That's what I think that Ancient Aberration would have fulfilled that to a certain extent. I think they need a hero with a little more potential output. I wouldn't mind. No, they need I wouldn't mind seeing something like a Banana Mancer here, but I think that they need something stronger for the late game.
The Banana Mancer, so it would give them some push with the Death Prophet. That'd be fine if they picked up a Juggernaut, but the Undying and the Abaddon. Well, Abaddon does okay there, but a Lion I think is fine here if they know how to play it well. He does provide a lot of disable, which up until this point they had none.
Right.
So they did need to double down on that. He gives a bit of burst damage to deal with the Sand King and the AA as well. I do see this Templar Assassin as being a potential issue. As you had mentioned, they do have now basically Death Prophet is their only answer to it. Spirit Siphon and Exorcism both pretty decent up against the refraction charges.
And we haven't even talked about the Ancient Apparition issue that's going to become a problem here. If that Ancient Apparition gets any form of off the ground, not even needing the Ag Scepter, the fact that it's going to slow down Undying's heal, it's going to slow down Abaddon's heal, it's going to make Death Prophet's regeneration difficult. It's going to be a very strong pickup, I think, for a team that UCB is really building on the context of survivability and lasting in these fights just a little bit, and I don't know if that's going to work.
I mean, the dream, right, is you land a perfect Ice Blast on top of where the epicenter is going, and a giant Psyblade crit with Desolator damage comes out through the entire team. And then you land a Supernova on top. Even though they're all dead from that alone, the Supernova is just to throw a little fire on the grave.
How does Ancient Apparition's ultimate interact with the Spirit Siphon health drain?
You still drain the health, you just don't get it.
So the drain is taken away, but there is no regen for the Death Prophet.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So Ancient Apparition will stop any health gain from any source.
As the draft stands right now, it seems like this AA is going hit it. Much will depend upon this accuracy of the Ancient Apparition in this game. I think there's going to be a lot of chances to make engagements where I think if we see an ultimate miss, we're going to see U of M just back off and re-engage later if they can yell for Zingle in time not to blink in and start the fight.
You know, they have a lot of AoE, so it looks like if AA misses an ult, but everybody else hits their skills and positioning well, they should be okay. But I will agree that Berkeley are really healing dependent. So a good AA ult can make up for a lot of other mistakes in the fight, right? A good AA ult can make up for a miss Sand King ultimate, some bad Psyblade aims, a Phoenix that dies early before getting anything off, right?
So to you, it's less of an impetus to strike and more of a backup plan in case things don't go correctly.
I think it is their best mechanism for winning fights, at least fights where Exorcism is out.
Right.
But you don't usually want to fight into Exorcism anyway. Even if the Death Prophet is not going to be getting the end of Exorcism heal, if you can just back away from an Exorcism, you should, usually. They don't have a lot of burst to knock her down, even under the Ice Blast. So you're still going to take quite a bit of damage just walking around near that Death Prophet, right? I'm interested to see where U of M go. The OD is banned out, so is the Sven and the Jug.
Do you remember what year Warcraft 3 came out when this mod sort of started to catch precedence?
2002.
That makes sense.
I think this mod I think the predecessors for Dota started to come out around 2002. I think Warcraft 3 was 2001, but I'm not.
Well, I just Death Prophet wears a choker like the girls used to wear in the early 2000s when I was in college. So.
Oh, well, that's a different character model than was in the Warcraft mod.
Oh,
right?
so they just did a little throwback to the time period. I haven't seen anybody wearing chokers in God knows how long. California surfers and girls from the Midwest were all that had that. All right, Ember Spirit's going to go ahead and get picked up here for T1E, so it looks like he will be in the mid position, or I don't know, man. They got a lot of options. And then UMR gets the Phantom Lancer, which I think is an interesting pickup. How do you feel like he fits into that draft?
He's okay. I'm confused by the choice to put Zingle on the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Because this is a hero, or this is a player that normally plays for farming carry, and Phoenix is not typically a very strong farming carry hero, but also because this is a player that has a tendency to go really aggressive. And while Phoenix is very good at that, Phoenix is also very good at dying because he did that. Right? It's a super fine line for Phoenix. When being overly aggressive totally works out and you look like a god, and when you just burn up under the weight of your own incompetence.
And you look like a Zingle.
And Zingle does both of those things. Right? We've seen him make really good plays and just look like a fool. But with Phoenix, it's so in the forefront that he needs to. Every inch of his positioning is going to be vital.
This reminds me of the days when you and I used to cover Leviathan before they turned pro, and they were like amateur, semi-pro, and we constantly be like classic Newsham, making weird choices. This definitely rings with that,
classic Newsham.
right? Yeah.
That stuff is
that's OG, man. We discovered Leviathan. I'm just saying. All right, let's do some quick introductions before this thing breaks out for the Diocide University of Michigan. Zingle is going to be going in deep on the Phoenix. We're going to have Dandy. It's a nice player here playing that Sand King. We're going to have T1E on the Ember Spirit, Boots and Cats playing the Templar Assassin, and Pave playing the Ancient Apparition.
And Delta Sheep here for Berkeley, California is going to be shambling around on the Undying. UMR is going to be Multiplicity on the Phantom Lancer. Dark Cataclysm will be on the Abaddon, and Lion will be played by some symbols that I cannot pronounce. Then we've got Lil Namcorp taking the Death Prophet.
I was going to try, and then I thought it might sound racist, so I decided not to.
I think it would probably... If you start a sentence with, I was going to try, but I think it might sound racist...
I don't know.
Usually that's a good sign.
Based on the way that Trump's been polling, people like that kind of stuff. So maybe next time we'll give it a shot. Gold lead. I don't know why I said gold lead. The last hit deny chart is up for you guys to sort of keep an eye on CS as this one shakes out. It looks like a 2-1-1 with a Pave putting up some stacks here in the jungle early on for the TA. Do you like that? You think Pave will go around and spend a couple minutes stacking, or just one and then rotate away?
You'll probably do one rotate and then rotate back to get the second one. I expect it's one, then come into the mid lane.
Okay.
See? And then he'll probably do one more. He's going to try to double stack. He uses the vision.
I like
and
it.
he will
It
actually
works.
get it.
Yep.
That's good.
It works.
This is something that you see Vengeful Spirits do sometimes. You don't usually see AAs do it because it does mean that you have to get Ice Vortex first.
Right.
And he can't contribute to basically any kill potential at all. But if you do have a hero like TA that's really stack dependent and maximizes that with physical instead of magical damage, so he clears stacks very quickly, yeah, definitely worth it.
I think, if he gets one more double stack or even not, it's really worth that early build just to make sure the TA gets off the ground without an issue. We saw how effective Boots and Cats was on his Blink-style hero in the last game with that Slardar. I would not be surprised to see him do the exact same style of play here with the Blink Templar build. And I think that could cause a lot of trouble if he gets off the ground early based on what we saw last time. So I like what Pave chose to do there. I think it's going to work very, very well for them. Let's go to the bottom lane where Zingle is playing an off-lane Phoenix here. He has a little bit of vision to try and keep a ward down as it comes in. The boys on the Radiant side figure it out, and they put down a defensive ward, but it's a little farther out of that sentry range. So nicely played by them to make sure that they do have some vision of Phoenix and the boys in case they choose to gank. Cataclysm's going to find nice player.
Chance that we don't have the overlay down yet. Once again, I suspect you've already gotten it.
Nope,
but in case you haven't.
I did not. It is fixed now, guys. Sorry about that. I feel incredibly terrible inside of my heart.
There was no first blood. It's just that stack.
There was no first blood.
You know what? They can calm their teats a little bit. Oh, and speaking of first blood, Pave maybe going down here. There's going to be Tombstone. Tombstone actually knocks down the tree so that Pave can get through. He is going to be slowed down. He throws down his own slow in order to try and get Delta Sheep into the tower. Delta Sheep coming in. The stun will miss. Delta Sheep is under the cover of the Aphotic Shield, but that leaves the Abaddon available for the kill. Fairy Fire going to be used to get Ty back up, and easy first blood going the way you view them.
Ruh-roh is probably the best way to say that. Abaddon thought that they could go a little deeper. They couldn't. And like you said, that tombstone, just the wrong place at the right time.
Yeah, it was a really interesting tombstone. It did make the walking much easier for AA, who could go through some trees that otherwise would have existed. And then the Abaddon throwing the Aphotic Shield, but not changing, the tower aggro off of himself. It was just not the best coordination from them ever. The execution was all right up to a point, but they needed to be more together, more hive mind.
More hive mind. And I hear Twitch chat calling to fire the production team, so I went ahead and fired the producer who is handling all the scene switches, and it'll just be me from here on out.
Okay, yeah, and I think that's a good call.
All right,
I never liked that guy anyway.
Speaking of not liking a guy, it seems that U of M not loving Delta Sheep as they take him down, and now Dark Cataclysm is going to suffer his own namesake as he is taken out. In the middle, Namcor trying to get the turnaround on Boots and Cats. Boots and Cats on the run. The Siphon is there. Boots and Cats going, no. He does manage to get his refraction up, though, and he will maybe survive this. He does. Beautifully played. Held that refraction to the right time. It was nicely done.
Yeah, he's going to walk himself away, and he does have a bottle, so he should be able to just bottle crow it back when that crow comes back overhead.
He's going to put a little damage, put some damage into the stack just to make sure that it's available and easier kill later on.
I think he's giving that stack up to the Sand King, actually.
Yeah.
I think they're giving both those stacks up to Sand King.
You know what? I don't mind that. I think that Blink Dagger is going to be very effective early on for them based on the sort of lineup that Cal's putting together here. We'll see if it pans out.
It's just that the Lanaya is so far behind the Death Prophet that... I mean, like I said, this is a hero that does have catch-up potential, but the reason she has catch-up potential is because she gets stack priority, usually.
Right. Yeah.
If she doesn't have that stack priority, then her catch-up potential is not nearly as significant. Her ability to actually kill heroes from behind is not overwhelming. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not overwhelming.
I think that in the hands, Boots and Cats did show us that he had the ability to find farm pretty effectively in the last game, so I'm curious to see how he proves that comeback potential in this one. And they've got the space right now. I mean, at the end of the day, U of M has gotten off to a very good start in their top lane. And that, I think, will buy the space that Boots needs to get back into this. And, of course, Zingle, very aggressive start to finish, is going to get the 6 and then maybe do some rotating for some ganks. And if he does that and they get a kill, I think they're totally fine.
Well, I will say that Berkeley are winning 2 out of their 3 lanes, and although they really have no excuse to be losing a dual off lane, including an Abaddon, that should be an almost guaranteed win, especially if you're engaging 2 heroes there. But they do have second highest last hits on their farming carry. They have highest last hits on their mid in the game, and their opponent's mid has been totally zoned out. I mean, TA has 21 last hits for the first 6 minutes. That's not great.
No, that is the definition of not great. Meanwhile, down on the bottom lane, it looks like Lion's going to be on the run. I really wish I knew what his name was.
Zingle's going to go for it. You know he is.
Yeah, no surprise there. And he's going to get it. Zingle makes the dive, puts up the burn. Meanwhile, up at the top, Delta Sheep caught again by T1E, who literally has his number. Wants to finish the job, searing so much damage. Good juke backwards to try and buy some space. Want to get a big rip. It's not going to happen, and they will also kill Dark Cataclysm. T1E drops low, denies off to his buddy, and they get another double kill. Triple if you count the fact that Lion went down in the mid, and U of M, for losing 2 lanes, is doing pretty good.
Yeah, well, the one lane that they're winning has a 5-0-0 farming carry in it. So that does help to offset some of the issue. Despite the fact that he is about 30% of the last hits behind his equivalent, he is almost highest net. He is now officially highest net worth in the game.
And that's, honestly, I feel that an Ember Spirit with a good net worth at this stage of the game is terrifying. Delta Sheep's going to find it, and he'll go for the next one. We see the Tombstone come down. Not only does he end up getting the kill, but they get the Tombstone gold, and they walk away, and now Tombstone's down. So Ember Spirit, as if he wasn't fat enough, it doesn't seem he's not, I don't know, is there an opposite to Weight Watchers? Because whatever it is, this man's loving it. The all-bread diet.
It's called Cinnabon.
God, I love Cinnabon.
It's the opposite of Weight Watchers, friend.
So
yeah, he is... This is, like you said, an Ember Spirit with this kind of farm at this stage is really, truly frightening because Ember Spirit is not a hero you normally see get a lot of farm early. He starts to scale once he gets some global maneuverability. Before 6, his last hits are good because he does have sleight of fist, but they're not like unwieldy, especially considering he has no levels of sleight of fist. He should not be doing this well.
I'm still drooling over Cinnabon.
Oh my goodness.
You remember the old Simpsons, like when Homer would say donut and get that like drooling thing? Like I feel that was literally me a second ago saying Cinnabon. I haven't had one in a very long time. I don't think I've actually seen one in a long time.
I get that yellow pallor checked out by a doctor. That's not
No! Whoa! Boots and Cats gets away again. I thought Namcor finally had his number, but this man knows refraction. Uh-oh. Oh, that's bad news. That's bad news, Gorgon. Zingle gets a kill on the bottom lane against the PL. PL, the guy who was getting the farm, who was really the hope, I think, for Cal, gets taken out by a really nice Phoenix play. Delta Sheep in very deep, puts down his tombstone. Now we're going to see the chase by T1E. Wants Dark Cataclysm, turns back for some Delta Sheep. In comes Namcor, and immediately the jump away by the Ember. Happy to sacrifice Pave, as Pave will go down here, and we'll see the TP away from Ember. So a good, solid rotation, and they get a kill, but it's only the Ancient Apparition, so not really that massive of a loss.
Yeah, Lil Namcor should be careful here because the Ember will come back and is quite formidable right now. He almost has his boots of travel up. I do see UMR doing what I would consider a build error or potential build error that he also did last time, where he gets 2 early game laning items and then goes for his big ticket like actual contribution item. Zingle, what are you doing, friend?
Just Zingle things.
Yeah, that was Zinglicious right there.
That was Zinglicious. Just Zingle things.
Did you see what happened?
No, I missed it.
He used his escape. He got away, and then he walked back in and died.
Classic Zingle.
I don't know what was going on. But anyway, Umar went for Ring of Aquila. He's going to pick up drums as well. If his team doesn't collapse around that to push with the Death Prophet as well to actually utilize those drums and that Ring of Aquila, then he should definitely be going for some farming item instead. Otherwise, he's getting items that he's not utilizing, which is what happened last time, right? He got drums and urn, didn't really utilize the drums, and then tried to go Radiance. By the time he got online, his team was already under the water.
Oh, UMR disconnects, so we'll wait for him to come back. Let's check in at 4 and 8. Net worth very strong on the Death Prophet. Slightly behind is T1E. If we look at items that are out right now, we've got the boots finished up on Namcor, which allowed him to go up top and get that AA pick off. Aquila and Bassi on 2 of the other heroes, but not a lot else really out besides some boots. Blink Dagger is done on the Sand King, which I think is going to be very, very strong at this stage of the game. Templar Assassin obviously finished our boots as well, and Zingle doing relatively well for the fact that he's sort of had a strange lane down here on the bottom.
Yes, I would not disagree with that necessarily, although Sand King is going to get caught out here. No, he's going to be able to turn it around. He's got a haste through.
He's got a haste through, and that's the fastest frog in the West, and he will just walk away. He's got the Blink Dagger for additional safety as he heads towards the bottom lane, where UMR is dropping low to Zingle. Sand King's coming in, hits the stun. There's the egg. Down he goes, and the haste rune will continue to tick, so they kill the PL. Zingle, though, again, very, very deep, starts to back away, being chased by Delta Street. Turns back around, and now he's just going to jump to safety. But here comes the Lion. He gets the stun. Zingle low. Lion does not have a finger, though, and Zingle will manage to get out.
He's got a finger. He just doesn't have the finger, and that's very unfortunate for his team. Now TA thinking about coming in here. She's about halfway to her Blink Dagger.
Don't want to risk a death, so I think that she'll probably play this a little bit passive.
If she had the farm that the Death Prophet had, she would have her Blink by now, and that would have been a 3-man wipe probably.
Yeah.
That's the realistic outcome of what we're talking about, this TA falling behind, even though her farming carry is doing very, very well.
She goes forward. She's going to drop back. There's the stun up on Lion. The 2 right clicks will finish the job. There's a nice stun on the return, though, and they're going to go lose the Phoenix. Lion in the back. UMR is going to come forward, as is Namcor. Boots and Cats could be in trouble. Is in trouble. That's going to set him back. Was it worth the green? Again, sometimes you just have to leave Zingle behind.
So, by sometimes you mean fairly frequently.
Generally.
Yeah, generally even. They will get the top tower, though.
So the tower will go down, and that's nice. At the end of the day, though, TA's not alive when it goes down. She is sitting at, what are we looking at here? 1,500 gold. Like you said, it was tempting to go for those kills. Would have guaranteed the Blink Dagger. didn't pan out. Now she's got another 1,000-ish to earn up to get herself to the online point that she wants to be. The gold lead's at 2,500 and the XP is 15. U of M still in the lead, but it is not as massive as it was at the same time in the last game.
AA is getting pretty close to his Midas as well, which normally a support AA, you'd want to get that Midas between 16 and 18 minutes. He also has his massive stack for really anybody from U of M can take that except the AA. So really doing the Lord's work there for somebody else. Mid.
Oh, I missed it. T1E, though, comes in, gets a nice pick off on that Lion. And meanwhile, on the bottom, Zingle dives deep to try and get the sheep, and he'll just go into his egg. UMR interested in playing, though. UMR's going to go straight on the egg. It's not going to get him in time. He'll explode, does some damage, has the dive. Can he use it? Just barely, but the tower should be close enough to finish the job. Nope, he is going to have the distance. The zombie on him. He's going to turn around, get the kill. Not get the kill because there's Lil Namcor. Yules is finished, and Namcor reveals it with a nasty surprise.
I'm not entirely sure that this PL realizes that his illusions are not counting against that egg when he tries to knock it down by himself.
Yeah, they would have had it if he hadn't used Doppelganger and just run straight to it. They would have killed the egg.
Maybe he still needed 4 attacks when it
was
down.
Still 4? Okay,
it was still 4. Yeah, he was the only one hitting it.
Because everybody else realized the illusions don't do anything.
Everyone else was like, that's not gonna work.
I can just hear chat like it just, hey bro, your illusions don't work on it. What? All right, here comes the Ancient Apparition. It's going to disco ball in. Namcor is going to take a shot. Going to go ahead and Yules to buy some space. Will come down, likely pop the ultimate, but maybe not, as now she's low. Knows it's not going to save her. She is going to drop like a rock. Now T1E on the chase. UMR has to pray. He does have Doppelganger. He's going to use it right now to try and get away, but everyone knows which one's the real one. It's the one that you're not microing. And he takes off. He's going to jump back to safety as the spam is really working out. Level 6. Great procs for him on those illusions, and now nice player caught out. UMR comes back in. Zingle goes. Doesn't have an egg, though, so he's got to be very careful. UMR putting in some serious work in the finger from behind. Makes it a double, as in the trees, T1E is thinking about trying to make a move here, and they end up giving up way more than they get.
And AA's ult is going to be coming in
This
here.
is a big one.
Well.
UMR takes it. He's going to try to vanish out. Finishes off the Undying. UMR dropping low. Another right click or two will finish the job. Uses that shield. Burns him down. That'll be a nice double. T1E wants to keep chasing Cataclysm. Cataclysm doesn't have an ultimate. He can finish him here. Good stun from the Lion. TP's coming out. T1E bit off more than he could chew. Does he have a remnant to jump to? He's going to hide inside of the trees. Tries to TP away. Do they have the stun? They got the Yules. That will be the end of T1E. He ends up going in, gets a double, but gives up 833 gold to the Lion as he goes down.
Yeah, that actually is a total swing of 1,000 gold because of the bounty, the kill bounty, and the AoE. So he is now sitting at 8-1. He does have his Boots of Travel up, and he just finished up drums as well. He is a force to be reckoned with, but a kill on him is worth a lot. Yeah,
definitely. U of M is still up by 4,000 XP as well as gold, and they are starting to get some items. The problem they're running into is entirely Lil Namcor right now. That Yule Scepter has been asked, like, I don't even know how to, like the word is, instrumental in keeping them in this game. It's proved very effective twice now. Got the kill on the Ember Spirit, got the kill on Zingle with his Phoenix dive, and has really been working out. Pave does go for the Ancient Apparition ahead of Midas, so he looks like he's going to utilize that and sort of play back a little bit, try to get that Egg Scepter up as quickly as possible. TA does have a Desolator now to add to her collection, and the Boots of Traveler finished up on the Ember Spirit if you didn't see him try to use those earlier. Does look like we're getting close-ish to Undying have himself a mechanism. Drums finished up on PL.
Yeah, PL does look like he's going to be going into the Diffusal Blade first.
I think he has to.
Yeah. I think that's a probably the best call he can make now that he went for Aquila and drums first. It does look like he's saving for the Boots of Travel. And honestly, with the drums Aquila build, he probably would be better off just getting the survivability and the attack speed of treads and just planning on staying with his team and farming safely rather than doing the split push farm style aggressive Phantom Lancer. He's just not far enough ahead to make that work.
Honestly, it's not my favorite PL. I think the way that PL plays now, yes, the split push works, but it doesn't feel like it's as exceptional as... I mean, you saw him in that last game. Once those illusions start to self-spawn, his team fight potential is insanely strong. and I think that that's really, he really shines here. Meanwhile, Nice Player is caught inside of the trees. He doesn't have any help coming. Will go invis, but immediately Sentry Ward is going to get thrown down as he books away, using everything he's got to try and escape here. He does not have anything else. He literally burned it all and will go down. Death Prophet finishes the last hit. Nice play by the Lion to make sure that there was no transition under tower. What that did, though, was it bought the entire team time to move into the Roche Pit. They're going to send Zingle and Boots and Cats in there. Zingle is going to tank it as he stands here and takes the hits. Is going to go to the last possible second because Boots and Cats is pretty low, but that Desolator allowing her to put some work here on the Roche. Refraction is off of cooldown. That'll buy him a little extra time, but right now, no one has any idea this is happening, and they get themselves a nice Aegis at the cost of a Lion.
Yeah, very nice pickup. The early Desolator always helps with that Roshan. A lot of times you can actually see TAs close to this stage in the game just take it.
Yeah.
But Boots and Cats need a little help. Either way.
Well, Boots and Cats went in pretty low from the get-go, so I think that Zingle
she was in there for a while before you actually looked over there. So she got low in Roche, as far as I'm aware.
She got low. And now we're going to the bottom where there's a push by T1E and the rest of the crew. In comes the Ancient Apparition Disco Ball doing some scouting to make sure that there's no vision in the trees. Throws a Remnant forward also. And now we're going to see a TP come in and TP out by T1E. Now they're going to go for Zingle pretty quickly here. Zingle has to think about backing away. And he will do so.
Should be fine.
There are remnants on the backside, though. So Ember can jump back in if he wants to, but I don't think that that's going to be a choice he'll make at this point in time.
No, they already got the tower. Why bother? He's just going to run himself out and farm.
So
tier 2s don't need to go down yet. For U of M, they're in the lead. They have a pretty decent handhold on what's going on. They just want to make sure that they get up their next set of items before their opponents are able to catch up, right?
Yep. So they will yield that tower down to Lil Namcor as he popped his ultimate to make it happen. He's going to do a little bit of a zoning shot and pop to say you don't get to heal at the end of your ultimate. And they will move together as they stop to farm a little jungle time. Meanwhile, back up on top, T1E continues to expand his lead in terms of gold. He is getting closer and closer to the Battle Fury, it looks like. Actually, a lot closer now with the broadswords in his inventory. And I am worried for UC Berkeley based on simply what I'm seeing coming out of T1E. I think that Death Prophet is a great hero, but the ability for T1E to just really get into these fights and wreak havoc is going to be a tough thing for them to deal with.
Well, that's not the half of it either. This AA is 2-1-6, has a pretty decently timed Midas, and is going to be able to get whatever items he wants without any infliction of damage or reciprocation.
And I want to point out, we haven't seen a miss yet. Any of the balls that he's thrown that have not hit a target have generally been used for scouting purposes to make sure that pushes are effective and there's no wraparounds or ganks, and I think it's working very, very well. And when he needs to hit, he's hitting. And he's doing what I like to see AAs do at this stage of the game, which is he understands his value in these team fights are marginal, so he'll stick around. But he's really trying to maximize the range coming out of that Ice Blast. And so far, it's worked very, very well for them.
Yeah, I also like that. I hate it when you see... I mean, if you have worked with your team and you have really good coordination, having an AA physically in the fight is worthwhile in a lot of cases because of the Ice Vortex's increase the damage.
I'm going to interrupt real quick as Boots and Cats gets caught. In comes the egg. Boots and Cats will likely go down here. Ancient Apparition Ball is going to come in. Short range, though. It catches Kata. Kata has his ultimate go off. That's going to be one on each side. And now that was the Aegis, remember. So TA does get to come back up, and they lost 2. That may make it 3 as UMR really wanted Zingle. UMR is going to have to back away now as he's not safe enough to stay inside. But he's got to watch out because T1E is on the hunt as UMR goes into the trees and tries to back out. Here, this could be trouble. UMR in some trouble. Goes invisible. The chase is on. He goes down. It is a 4-man wipe and all they got out of it was an Aegis. So,
hey, it's better than nothing. At least you got the Aegis, right?
Well, I mean, at least you got the Aegis and then maybe the GG, right? Like, I mean, we're in a situation here where all the tier 1s are down. They're now pushing a tier 2. The glyph was used at this point. Gold lead is well past 10,000. XP is at 12. And the net worth on the Ember Spirit just broke 10K, as did the TA. So these two mobile heroes who are doing a wonderful job of catching their opponents off guard, because that's really the key to some of these heroes. The pickoff on the Undying or the Death Prophet before she has the chance to respond with that sort of instantaneous engagement is proving incredibly effective.
One thing that I do want to point out here, this is sort of a rock, paper, scissors game in terms of U of M and their opponents in their drafts. So TA's side blades do not do any spill damage. They stop doing spill damage once they come into contact with an illusion, which makes Phantom Lancer typically a very good hero to deal with her. Not only does he have a lot of attacks to take away her refraction quickly, but if you are a ball of illusions, it's very difficult for TA to actually splash any damage through a fight from one side to another, or to pick off your supports, or to clear out your illusions in general. But then you have the Ember Spirit, who is able to knock down the illusions very quickly if you keep them balled up, right?
Right.
So it's just an interesting set of interactions. The Ember Spirit has to break away so that the TA can then do maximal damage through the side blades. And if you don't have the PL being shepherded in the right way, you could really see this TA just drop in efficacy in the late game.
And if you look at the GPM stacks right now, you're going to see the real tail of the tape here, as University of Michigan has 2 players over 450 and 4 players pretty much over 350 at this point, whereas the opposite side can only say that for 2 of their heroes, and that's, I think, where a lot of trouble is coming from. Lil Namcor is going to come in, Yule Scepter up on Boots, but everyone else is here. Namcor taking a lot of damage. The Apparition ulti is on her. She will very likely drop down. The TA dies as well. Ooh, Ember Spirit's got to run. He turns back. Nope, sorry. He says, sorry, Lion, I got you a number. And they're going to go ahead and take out the Tombstone. I take that back. I thought they killed the Tombstone, but they've got blood.
Got it.
They want Delta Sheep. So Delta Sheep in some trouble as well. He will go down with a sleight of fist. And now the chase is on for Dark Cataclysm, who Dandy gets the stun. There's the follow-up. His ultimate is on cooldown. So they should be able to finish him without a problem. That's another 4-man wipe. As, the last man standing is the PL. He's just going to farm because he couldn't even come in to try and help there. There was just nothing that could be done to stop the massacre.
By the time he would have been able to get in there,
it would have been ants marching one by one.
Because there's no anchor point out here.
Right.
Getting caught out there and deciding to engage out there was a really bad call for Berkeley, especially since the vision that they had only gave them vision of the area in which they were fighting, not the vision of potential enemies who might be flowing in from access points.
The forced bottleneck with the Tombstone was a phenomenal engagement had they had vision on their opponents anywhere else on the map. You're right. The fact that they didn't know where everybody else was, it put them in such a bad situation because the fight came essentially 2 from this side and then the rest just followed in from the back. So it just wrecked them. And you got to. I guess you think when you're down this far and you see a chance to take an engagement, do you just go for it? Speaking of taking engagement, they find Boots and Cats. This will be a good kill for them. Boots and Cats is going to get annihilated. Pave will now just try to TP to safety. They don't have a stun, so he'll get away. But that's a good gold swing. It's almost 2,000 put into the coffers of UCB. Gold lead is still 15,000 for Michigan though, as is the XP factor. So, what do? Cal, you got a pick off? Is that what you do? Just keep rotating as a large group, pray PL comes faster online and try to get some picks? Or smoke and rotate, push? What's your option?
Right now that they have the TA down, probably just get whatever farm they can out of this moment. If they could get a kill on Zingle, that'd be nice, but they probably won't be able to.
Yep, no finger available. Zingle will come in and egg right on top of the Lion. He wants to go. Lion is very, very low. Oh, the shot from above. Lion goes down. That was actually really nice.
A really good coordination as well between Zingle and his Ember Spirit.
Speaking of Ember Spirit, he wants to fight. He comes in, forces out the Tombstone back from the tower. That was a beautiful play by T1E to make sure that the Tombstone came out. A bit of overreaction maybe from the Undying to toss that down, and they will easily just go up and kill it once everybody backs off. So I think had they waited and let them get under tower to throw it down, they might have been in a little bit of trouble or had to back off and allow it to fall. Just really well played by T1E, as you said. Gold lead does stay the same.
You would ask what to do right now. Everything is up except the Lion. As soon as that Lion comes back, try to smoke and take something. They're going to lose the tower here for sure.
They might lose more. Ember goes hard on Cataclysm. Cataclysm does have an ultimate. Ember was hoping to pop that ulti and then rotate away. Meanwhile, Namcor trying to find some farm, but these wards, the vision from Dire is, well, its namesake, Dire, and proving very difficult for Radiant to get out and find anything. They've basically put down vision blocks so that anytime they try to get the Ancients or they try to pick up the easy farm camp, they're just not going to be allowed to do so. Meanwhile, UMR is going to keep farming his jungle. They pinged him out. They have vision on him somehow. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was his team pinging him. And it looks like T1E will just farm as we see the PL run back as fast as he possibly can. TP is on cooldown.
Now,
Meanwhile,
PL did end up going into the treads, by the way. He just did it very late. He probably should have done that earlier. It might have saved him one of his deaths.
AA is going to send in his ultimate. Cataclysm will take that to the face. Zingle's got some damage. In comes the tick, tick, tick. A nice player, but it's not going to get anybody. Lil Namcor comes in with the Yules, puts himself in harm's way, goes uphill into a massacre, and that is 2 down. Zingle playing the margins. He's got an egg, so he's good with it, as well as that Hand of Midas and the Earner Shadows. They'll push forward now with that on the assist. T1E just came right back. He's been doing a good job of managing his remnants to go back and forth as quickly as possible, and they'll go to the high ground. Can they fight in? Can they stop this tower, or do they have to wait for the respawn? T1E goes back, harasses Delta Sheep, who's already low and knows that he can't really risk over-engagement. We're going to see the dive, the egg, Delta Sheep dead. Cataclysm in some trouble. T1E wants to chase him, is going to think about it, and PL wants to take the fight. Now we see the pop of Cataclysm run back by the Ember, and I think that worked out well. So they know Dark Cataclysm's lost his ultimate. In comes the finger. That will finish Zingle, but at what cost, as Lion will drop down to a nice play from Boots and Cats. Boots and Cats, though, taking some serious damage from the PL, but in from behind comes the Ember Spirit, catches UMR. Now he's got to back away, but that was long enough to slow down the illusion charges. Back comes Lion. That was a buyback, maybe a dieback, as Boots and Cats finishes the job with the Dustulator pop. He will go down, and now they keep moving forward. They end up catching themselves the PL. That's going to be the GG. It's got to be the GG. The fight is on. Namcor wants to get some kills. Namcor is running the ultimate, gets a pick off on the Sand King. They hold the high ground for the time being, so maybe not. Buyback from the Phoenix. Yule's on Namcor. He's going to pull in Boots and Cats. Boots and Cats is very low. The Siphon is there. I guess we take it back.
Yeah.
Namcor.
I'm kind of speechless on that. Namcor getting that ultimate off. I didn't expect him to be able to catch anybody with it.
Namcor,
I just thought
hardcore.
that was just going to be Ember Spirit teleports back to base, but I realized as I was saying that his Boots of Travel were still on cooldown. So had he been able to teleport back to base, get full health, and then just Remnant back in at the end of that exorcism, it would just be a meat grinder. Very well played by Namcor.
Yeah.
Just being aware of the limitations of his opponents.
Absolutely. Doing a great job of keeping his team in it, if not winning it. 21,000 gold, by the way, 20,000 XP. If we look at items and see sort of where we're at, we'll look at U of M first. The Battle Fury obviously done. The Chrysalis done. We're getting very close to a Daedalus at this point in time. Aside of the Blink Dagger from the Ember Spirit. Phoenix has finished up a Shiva's Guard. Daedalus is actually on the way out. About Courier's going to go pick it up for him. Sand King's got his ultimate, or his Ags for his ultimate. It's just a really... Oh, wow. Also worth noting, Ancient Apparition is roughly 600 gold away from finishing his Ag Scepter, which I think is going to be really devastating for UC Berkeley.
Yeah, I don't know how they deal with that, especially since the Octarine was the item of choice for Death Prophet, which I don't know what else she honestly should have gone. Maybe a Sheep Stick, but yeah, probably a Sheep Stick, honestly, because against an AA, that Octarine is just, in most cases, it's not going to do anything for you other than reduce your cooldown a little bit. And I don't know that the extra couple of seconds before your next exorcism is going to end up being worth it.
Yeah, should be pretty interesting. Meanwhile, back at the farm, we're going to find a Roche going on. Easy push down, no challenge at all. Roche will drop because meanwhile, T1E is going to go ahead and push into the top tower. He finds himself Delta Sheep. Delta Sheep will die before he knows what's happening. Nope, Mech is there, so he does manage to live. And T1E taking no risks, Remnants away. So nice job. Forces the Mech to pop, though, for a single-player heal. Back to the bottom where we see Dandy and the crew headed there to take the split push into play. And it looks like Pave doing what I love to see an AA doing. He's just keeping the range, understanding the way that this hero works, getting some farm on his own, using that Midas, and then hitting that Ice Blast every single time.
Yes, he continues to be a huge pain.
I think people really underestimate the finesse it takes to be a good Ancient Apparition.
It's okay. You know, the thing is, once you get a sense of it, I think really it's more misunderestimated, I guess. The finesse it takes to play against a good Ancient Apparition, because AA's ult, it has a low cooldown. If you miss it once in a while, it doesn't really matter. It's a huge area of impact, right?
Uh-oh, we're going to stop you there because Egg comes in. The retreat is on. Dandy dropping low. He will go. They turn around. Namcor wanted the fight, and it goes 2 for 1. Dive to the high ground. UMR low. This opens up T1E to make the push happen. Phoenix will clear the creep wave very effectively, and now they are on the tower. Buyback from Lil Namcor. He had no other option. That's going to hurt him as he was really trying to get some items here up online. He's going to have to come back in. T1E gets caught inside of the Yules, but there's the jump from Boots and Cats. Zangle there as well. Boots and Cats drops very low. Namcor used the siphon on top of him, and everyone has to back away. The Aegis does come out, though, so Boots and Cats goes deep. Namcor cooldown off on siphon, and it looks like Boots and Cats will get killed twice in a row.
He has his ult. He's backing up for it. They're not planning on disengaging here.
All right, he comes back in. Here comes the Ancient Apparition ultimate. It is going to hit the Undying. Dodged by Namcor at the last second, partly due to the fact that UMR came forward there and gave them vision of its trajectory. Zingle taking damage. Does he have his ultimate? He can't get it off. He's going to go down. I'm sorry, he didn't have it to get off. So he's going to go down. T1E is going to get Yulesed up in the air. He's in some trouble here, bouncing around all over the place. Ancient Apparition comes in to try and help, but the Siphon is just too strong. Little Namcor puts in work. This man is pure blue collar.
10 seconds for the AA ult, and they are all very low down here. Now, this is a moment that takes a lot of skill. If he can actually grab UMR, he's got to try. He should launch it for the fountain. He launched it a little bit early, I think. We'll see. Depends on if UMR decides to doppelganger in or not. Yeah, it is a little bit early.
He's going to walk into it. He's going to walk into it. He walked into it.
Wow. That was volleyball rules. That was on the line.
Wow. Beautiful play. Beautiful play. Beautiful play. That was a much-needed return pick, by the way, on getting that PL there. Yeah, so Ancient Apparition's happy with it.
600 gold, but it's the moral impact.
Well,
the morale impact.
Well, after a fight like that, really that PL depends on getting himself healed up and getting back out there and picking up some farm as quickly as he can. While Ember Spirit is down, he's obviously now he's going to be down until after Ember's back. Ember will push the lanes while he respawns. Just not a situation he wants to find himself in.
Yeah, no. If you're going to lose a hero, the PL's not the hero you want to lose. Right. He's very far behind. He only has a Yasha and a Diffusal with 1 charge left, so he needs to up that Diffusal. Yeah. He has enough money to grab the Ultimate Orb that I assume is going to go into a Manta for that Yasha, but he has to get out to the Secret Shop to get it, which is kind of a tall order because
a very tall order.
A good deal of map control going the way of Dire. Look at all these psionic traps they've got up. So on top of the warding that they presumably are going to be putting up here pretty soon, they have psionic traps in all the most common pathways that they have to watch.
Did you drop your Yule Scepter?
What about complexity? What's going on?
I heard it jingle. Oh, did you catch around the pit this week?
No, I actually haven't caught it yet. It's on my playlist for tomorrow while I'm walking the dog.
I have the single best Swindlemelons burn in history during that show, so
I'm looking forward to it. Don't ruin
it. I won't. Top notch though. Top notch, sir. 22,000 gold in the lead for U of M. 15,000 in terms of XP, and University of Michigan continues to stomp their way forward in the Collegiate Star League world. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, and it's been a year and I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I'm fairly certain U of M came in 2nd place last year at the CSL Grand Final, and I gotta be honest, the way that it's looking right now, they're gonna be top 4, if not better.
They're certainly on par to be top 4, if not better, right? It is a dethroning process at this point. They are de facto going to be top 4, and if they are not, it's going to come completely down to another team or another series of teams stepping up their game in a way that they
It really depends on, do they end up being an Evil Geniuses, or do they end up being a C-Deck? And I think that's where they've really got to ask themselves that question. Gold lead is, oh God, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Like, University of Michigan is at a point where, I mean, if you're Berkeley and you're looking at this, you go, my PL doesn't have farm. Sure, Namcor is kicking ass and taking names, but how long can that last? We're at 35 minutes. The Octarine...
It can still last a little while.
A little while, but is it long enough for PL to get strong enough for the late game compared to what Ember Spirit's doing in farm? Ember Spirit has 21.8k net worth.
They're getting close to the point that Ember Spirit will be maxed out, though. So if they can continue to hold off against him.
Zingle, Zingle, Zingle is going to go down. Ancient Apparition Ultimate is going to go. Nice zoning distance. He's going to not getting at anybody, though. He does throw that behind. Namcor takes some damage. He's going to fall back. Desolator putting in some work. Delta Sheep goes down. Nice play by nice player. Comes in with the big epicenter. Yields to buy space. Double stun from the Lion. Catches 2. And now Zingle's got to run. I'm sorry, Ember Spirit's got to run for the hills. Out he goes. TP by Pave. He'll get out as well as the Yules was down. But that Lion play was absolutely sadistic as he cost U of M big time down there on the bottom lane.
Yeah, so I would like to give some props here to Pave because that ultimate was on point. You saw that ultimate go by,
right?
And you see it and you go, oh, that ultimate didn't hit anybody, but
it forces them
tail
to
still gives the lack of regen. Right? If the tail goes over them between the tracer and the actual spell, then they will still take the damage over time, and they still will shatter, and they still won't get the regen. And it did go over the Undying, who is their biggest health hero. So being able to get him to shatter much earlier is a big part. So he ended up throwing it somewhere around here, which meant that if any heroes were forced to retreat back into the fountain, those heroes would guaranteedly die because they are being forced to retreat toward the fountain, already low health, and then they get pegged off. He also managed to get the tail over, I think, 2 heroes, but it might have just been 1. But it was the one hero that you really wanted over, other than the Death Prophet, who was, I think, in Cyclone at the time, though I could be wrong about that.
I'm being corrected. UBC was second. Cal was first last time around. So Cal, like we said, tough start to the season. Seems like I know they got some new players coming in. They turned it around. I look forward to seeing what they bring to us next season. Or, if they turn this around, if they pull off Miracle, and miracles have happened.
They're not out of it.
They're not out of it.
Like I said, the Ember Spirit is getting close to maxed out, barring a Divine Rapier, which would be a very risky move, right? And Cal are still holding out against them. So if the Ember Spirit maxes out and Cal still don't end up losing racks, then they've got all the time in the world to get the PA going because their opponent is not going to get any tougher. The TA will get a little bit tougher, but she's going to continue to have trouble dealing with all of the illusions, right? The Sand King doesn't get any worse. He's going to get easier and easier to deal with as your heroes get more health. Same for the Phoenix, more or less. He doesn't get particularly worse. As you get more health, the Sunray continues to do the same equivalent damage, but in terms of being able to knock down his egg, he doesn't get worse, right? He is going to get a Radiance, though, which could be an issue.
So what do you pick up to replace the drums here as the Ember Spirit? Are you looking for the double Battle Fury build, the double Daedalus? What do you think you pick up here?
Let me do some quick math. You know what? Honestly, I was going to say just go Monkey King Bar, but nobody's going to go Radiance or Butterfly anytime soon. So you don't have to worry about that. Probably double Daedalus.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, you saw what he did to Lion with that one shot. Daedalus, I think, is going to be a lot for the guys at Cal to handle. They're strong, but they're not tanky at this particular moment. They've got the Guardian Greaves. They've got the Abyss Shield, but I think that his double Daedalus cleave just goes through all of that and could cause a lot of trouble. Also, like we said, he'll probably get rid of that Blink Dagger at some point. I think that once he's got a double Daedalus, he'll get a Divine Rapier, and as long as he keeps it away from the PL, it's not that big of an issue.
I don't think he'll need you don't want to pick up that Divine Rapier unless you absolutely have to, even if you're in the lead, right? So with double Daedalus, he's gonna have a 51%, I think, chance to crit. So 1 in 2 of his attacks will crit, and that's going to make the PL basically non-existent in these fights until the rest of the team forces Ember back, right?
Right. All right.
So, you're getting to the point where it's going to be Daedalus, probably then just hold buyback, and honestly probably hold buyback nowish because if they almost take a fight and the Ember Spirit buys back and comes back in and finishes the fight, takes a Rax, that's way better than a Daedalus, right?
I like this Abba Ags pickup.
It's okay.
I think with the way that the initiation from U of M has been going, they've been putting a lot of eggs in this sort of initial contact basket, and I think that Dark Cataclysm, if he uses that ultimate to sort of counter the initial attacks, it seems to be working pretty well for Namcor to open up his siphon, get himself up and running, and start to take out heroes. And
well, a big part of that Ags in this particular game is also that AA's ult stops you from healing, but it doesn't stop you from taking less damage. So
Right.
Abaddon's Aghanim's, which will redirect
Mhm.
damage from other heroes to him, it won't heal him faster if he's under the effect of Ancient Apparitional. He won't
True.
heal at all. But it will stop his allies from taking as much damage.
Right.
And that is a big part of dealing with an AA, trying to take as little damage as possible during the duration of that ult. So Abaddon actually has a lot of answers to AA because he has the Emphatic Shield
Mhm.
in order to mitigate some damage without actually technically healing anybody.
Right.
And he also has now Borrowed Time. So he does have a couple of answers to the AA. Wow, he goes Divine. I take it all back.
There you go.
He does not give two shits about propriety
didn't go-
or safety. They're just going for it. They just want to win.
Yeah.
They
well,
want this to be over. They want to go do some homework. But if they drop that and it gets picked
Yeah.
up by the PL, they've already been having some trouble getting through this high ground. They could be regretting it.
I would
So
have.
the
I would have
site
at
has
the.
to go
I would have
back.
at the very least gone for a second battle period dayless before I picked that up. But the blink dagger I guess means he has a little more survivability. He's got the BKB up. They're gonna go ahead and smoke, and they're gonna use that divine as a surprise. Now he did just kill some creeps, so if the guys were quick on the click, they'll know about it. That said, I didn't see any
think he got
pings.
those creeps from outside of
Oh.
vision range, and
I
you
didn't-
can't click on Ember Spirit while he's in whatever mode, sleight of fist mode.
Either way, I didn't see any pings, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that they don't know about it just yet as they start to push forward here. I imagine he'll hang back. They might send the Phoenix in. If I'm them, I send Phoenix in and I say, Zingle, you do what you do best. I want you to go in there and just egg. Make them come out and try to stop you, and I'm going to go ham bone. And what we're going to see is he now goes to the bottom lane, so he's going to push the split. The question is, can he clear these creeps without revealing that he's got the rapier?
I think that they're going to be the
Now they know.
goal is to
They've gotta
keep them busy, you know,
Right. All right.
so that they can't be focusing on the Ember. Ember's farming. You don't focus on him. You just try to kill
Right.
a hero while the Ember's gone. And that's the goal anyway. I think Cal are doing a good job at least right now, just kind of staying safe and kind of staying back, but they've got to stay farther back. The ping did just come out.
I think they just saw
They
because
do
he
have
walked past the
ward, so-
ward. So they now know that he's got the rapier. Immediately, you see them fall back to the high ground.
I'm not sure. Here's the thing, because they pinged the ward,
That's
not
fair.
the Ember. So I'm not sure if they think that that's warded or if they saw the rapier.
I think we're about to find out. Here comes the Ancient Apparition ultimate. They're going to put a lot into Zingle. Zingle drops very quickly, but everyone's following. Nice player goes in first, puts up some damage. Now we see the push forward by the rest of the team. Zingle gave his life on initiation that nobody was able to follow up on, so unfortunate for him. He did manage to pull out the finger, which I think could have been a problem, potentially, for the Ember Spirit if he chose to engage there. That said, because everybody falls off, it will allow them to heal back up. Good idea, Zingle. I don't know that if your team was quite ready for you to do that, though.
I almost said something when you said,
no.
if it's up to me and I'm on University of Michigan, I tell the Phoenix to go in and initiate with egg.
Yep.
I don't think that that's a winning strategy, to be honest, in
Gotcha.
most cases here. And the reason why is either the egg is far enough out away from the base that they just back up and you wasted the egg, or it's far enough in the base that they can attack the egg down before your allies can actually get in and help you, right?
Well, you see, that's what you get. That's what you get for stream sniping. My casting, University of Michigan.
Yeah, you take your advice from me, friends. You don't take your advice from Toffees.
I'm just the cameraman. The cameraman can.
Cameraman, and now you're in charge of transitions because we fired that other guy.
We fired that other Steve. The 25,000 gold lead, by the way, 15 XP. It's balanced out a little bit, but the story of the game right now is that Rapier up on Ember Spirit. He's got 4,000 gold in the bank, and looks like he will be looking to come back immediately should something bad happen to him. Invis Rune. Smoke is going to be used immediately, but they smoked under a ward, so Radiant now knows that they're smoked, and they will, again, fall back to safety.
I just don't understand. If you're going to get a rapier because you want to finish the game,
Finish the game.
but then you can't finish the game because you're too scared of giving up the rapier.
Right.
Why not get a normal item and just farm, right, or something? It seemed like we got to rush this out decision, and it's taking the opposite effect.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, they haven't taken a fight yet, so they're going to go to the high ground. They're going to send Boots and Cats up initially. He starts out the fight. Cataclysm comes forward. T1E in a dangerous position, has to be very careful here. They're going to start the initiation. Sleight of Fist takes a ton of damage. Here comes the Ancient Apparition Ultimate. It is going to catch. Yule Scepter lands just at the right time. Namcor taking some major hits. Egg is going to come out. They can't even try to turn on it. Cataclysm taking a lot of damage. Sleight of Fist finishes the job. That is one down. They'll turn around. They'll get the racks. And maybe UMR is going to go ahead and pop his nothing.
He's
Death.
got buyback, though.
Oh, he does have buyback, so he'll have to use that. And they're going to go ahead and finish off these racks. Glyph is popped to buy some space. UMR comes right back in. But again, they're being very careful with this Ember Spirit. They go back in, finish that up, jumps away to safety. Ultimate is popped on Namcor. Nice player left behind. Boots and Cats able to get out. Oh, he wants to fight it, though. He's willing to go into the ultimate. A little bit scarier than I'm willing to do, but the heals from the Phoenix are there. Yule Scepter keeps him up. Ancient Apparition, Disco Ball strikes. BKB works out, and now Delta Sheep will go down too. And that should be a GG, as they made a really great play. Got the push down. Should be able to finish the mid-racks. Never mind buyback from Namcor and Undying as they look for the re-engage. Zingle is going to get back to full with the cheese. He's doing a ton of work with that Radiance, even as he sits here as a frog. UMR is going to try to get away, but T1E goes in, finishes him off. Delta Sheep low again. Namcor in, no ultimate, but has a BKB, trying to survive as long as possible. Good stun from nice player here. Namcor running for the hills, and will get back to base, but at the sacrifice of everyone else on his team. Thinking about coming back in for a re-engagement and has no other option but to try and do it. Ancient Apparition, Lion combo, putting in some work. Namcor Yules to buy some time. Will it be enough? Namcor, no, is going to go down, and that'll be the GG. University of California at Berkeley. Not 100% out of it. There could be some crazy things that happen, I guess, in the bracket to secure their position in playoffs. But University of Michigan officially comes out of this 2-0 as the Dream Crushers. Pretty much proving that they are the team to beat as we start to roll towards DreamHack. My name's Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TV. I'm joined by my co-caster, Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can find him at the Wonder Cow. And that will be our broadcast for tonight. As always, thank you for coming and supporting the CSL. We have 2 remaining broadcasts before playoffs, Tuesday and Thursday. Same place, same time. Be sure to follow both of our Twitch channels to catch all the nightly action across our games. Gorgon, any last thoughts before we sign out?
No, this was actually a good series of games from both teams.
I enjoyed it.
It did get a little one-sided at certain points, but I think both teams played really well. And there was Dandy, nice player here, wanted to shout out to his golden fisherman, apparently. I don't know why.
All right.
I assume that's what GF means. I'm hip with the kids.
Golden Fisherman it is. Guys, another big shout out to our sponsors, Twitch and Asus, Republic of Gamers. We could not do it without them. We'll play some music for you, our last song of the night. And remember, if you enjoyed it, go to Twitter and tweet at Asus_ROG and let them know that you appreciate them sponsoring the CSL. You appreciate them flying the players out. Because they are definitely investing a lot of their money to show that they support collegiate esports, and that means a great deal to us. We'll see you next Tuesday. This has been Toffees and Gorgon, and as always, Toffees out. Guys, this is Toffees, and I appreciate you hanging out with us this evening. As always, we'll play it out with Fever Fever, Sleep Easy. I hope that you do so. I hope that you pass your test, and I hope that you have fun, because we got way more Dota coming in just 1 week away from playoffs. I'm excited. I hope you are too, as we continue down this road to DreamHack.